Welcome the Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Kenny Anthony. My brothers and sisters of Babonneau, good night. Good night, my brothers and sisters. It looks like you feel something. What you feeling? It looks like you want something. What you want? I can feel it in your soul. I can see it and I can feel it. So tonight, when I listen to Alvina Reynolds, I say, we're ready in Babonneau. Are we ready in Babonneau? Are we ready in Babonneau? And Sister Alvina Reynolds spoke about a report card. She told you what she promised to do, and she told you what she did, and she told you what she will do. That is the mark of a representative. She told you, and you saw for yourself what she did. But let us go back and look at the United Workers' Party. The United Workers' Party want you to forget that they were in power for 5 years. They want you to forget that. When they were in power for 5 years, they had a report card. You heard Alvina's report card. Listen to the United Workers' Party report card. The United Workers' Party report card. They said they would achieve high rates of economic growth. Under the United Workers' Party, economic growth was never more than 1%. Never. In fact, it was minus in some years. So they good. They said they'll create 7,000 new jobs. How many jobs did they create? So they said they would introduce strong measures to combat crime and improve safety. And Myers Bollhead, he was the Minister for National Security. Myers reject. The Myers that have defeated, and now he run away and come back hugging up Mel. That is the same Myers who was Minister of National Security when he had to bring Operation Restore Confidence on the Myers and put the country where we are today. But Myers believes that we forget. He believes that we are forgotten. But tell Myers, two things he will never see. He ever win a seat in Castries East, or he become a government minister again. And tell him, put that in his pipe on. My brothers and my sisters, the United Workers' Party report card. And you see, every time we come here, every time I speak on a platform, because you see, they begin to attack me first. Guyanese born Dominic Fede, born in Guyana, living in St. Lucia, cannot speak patois. When I came on the platform and I said that if you cannot speak patois, you cannot feel the people. You can't understand the people. Some of them criticize me, but now Chasney trying to speak patois. Why must Chasney try to speak patois if patois is not important? Why must he? This bell. But imagine that. Chasney doesn't know who is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela. The same Chasney doesn't know who is Nelson Mandela. You see, when you are hypocrite, when you don't understand people, when you don't love people, when you don't feel for people, you make these mistakes. So you call a man who was arguably one of the greatest men who ever lived, you don't know his name, you call him Nelson Mandela. So my brothers and my sisters, the arrogance of the United Workers' Party. Guyanese born What's his name? Dominic Fede. Gen is born, 5 feet 2.5 inches. Dominic Fede goes on the radio and says he was a better minister than Lon Theophilus, Menisa Mambali, and Phillip J. Pierre. You mean to tell me he will be? You mean to tell me Dominic Fede hasn't even won a seat yet? Dominic Fede start lying already? Dominic Fede has become so arrogant he can go on the radio and insult people. But one thing Dominic Fede doesn't know is John Victorin is waiting for him in Assau. And all the nonsense he was doing, carrying his short self all over the place, playing he can represent people. John Victorin will deal with Dominic Fede in Assau. And Dominic Fede is just like his boss, Alan Shastley. Membet, they lie together. They are a collective group of liars. All of them suffer from liabilities. So, Dominic Fede doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the nature of growth in tourism. But I'll tell you something. Under Lon Theophilus, tourism grew for the period that he is in government. Tourism grew by 5.8%. Under Alan Shastley, for his years, tourism grew by only 1.1%. And I want you to go and check it for yourself and tell Alan Shastley that Lon Theophilus and Phillip J. Pierre did much better than him when he was Minister of Tourism than him. And that's a fact. And tell him, put that in his pipeline. Investments in tourism. Alan Shastley did not bring one new hotel room into St. Lucia. Alan Shastley did not bring one new hotel room in St. Lucia. When I was Minister of Tourism, the greatest number of new hotels were built in the history of St. Lucia under the St. Lucia Labour Party with Kenny Anthony as Prime Minister. And now, under Lon Theophilus, the largest hotel ever built, more than 600 rooms, is being built in St. Lucia as we speak under Kenny Anthony and Lon Theophilus. So tell Shastley, put that in his pipeline. That is our performance. That is our performance. That's what so they just talk and lie. We didn't take money and put in boxing in paradise and bring boxers and Afalai burn them. Afalai is a better boxer than those they spend $3 million for. We didn't take money and buy a tent for $800,000 US. We didn't take money to do that. We didn't take money and spend Alan Shastley's telephone bill. When he was a Minister of Tourism, his telephone bill was between $15,000 and $20,000 a month. That's what his bill. Alan Shastley spent $1 million in travel when he was Minister of Tourism. He went to Russia and he changed the flight, and the flight cost $14,000 to make the change. Tell Alan Shastley, go and deny it. Tell him deny it. That is Alan Shastley's performance as a Minister of Tourism. And now you want to come and go in the Georgia's Boulevard and play. You come in and deal with me, Phillip J. Pierre. Alan Shastley took jazz out of Masha. He took it out of Masha. He said that the people of Masha can't understand jazz. He said that Masha does not deserve jazz. He also said that Masha is a place where people should demonstrate. That's what he said about Masha. It's a place that people should demonstrate. And right now, you want to go to Masha? My brothers and my sisters, you see, the problem with the United Workers' Party, they do not understand and they do not think that we can remember. They do not think that we can remember. They don't think so. But I've told my people of Castries East, do not worry with any sideshow. Do not worry with any sideshow. The person we have to worry with in this election, the person we must ensure that never gets back or never enters government or never wins a seat is Alan Chasley and Guy Joseph. That is where we have to concentrate. Not on any sideshow, not on anybody they pay the mortgage to an election. Nobody so. And when you hear Guy Joseph, Deputy Prime Minister, you cut the grass behind the grass and leave the grass for the grass. That is Guy Joseph. The Deputy Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Guy Joseph. That is Guy Joseph, my brothers and my sisters. But, you see, they don't understand what we have done to St. Lucia. They don't understand how we have built over 20 bridges in less than 4 years. They don't understand what we have done in Babonneau. They don't understand we've repaired the Cabish Road, the Fokako Road. They don't understand the work we've done in Babonneau, the Assau Bridge. And talking about Babonneau and tourism, the only major tourism investment in Babonneau was the rides in the forest rides, and that was done under the St. Lucia Labour Party. That investment was done on the Labour. It's there for us to see. When Finisterre was parliamentary rep, Jean was Minister of Agriculture, and I was Minister of Tourism, and Kenny Anton was Prime Minister. The only meaningful investment in tourism in Babonneau was done under the St. Lucia Labour Party. So, my brothers and my sisters, I want you to understand and see how we have changed this country. Think about this country when we came into government in 2011, and think about this country now. Think about this country now. In these short years, how we have changed the face of this country. What we have done to bring confidence, to bring integrity, to bring stability, to bring faith back into government. And regardless of how they try, regardless of what they do, every day is a different story about Kenny Anthony. Every day, Kenny this, Kenny that. But I'll tell you something. If the people of St. Lucia, or when they have a choice to choose between Kenny Anthony and Alan Chasley, they are going to choose Kenny Anthony again. Because Kenny Anthony understands St. Lucians. Kenny Anthony feels the pain of St. Lucians. Kenny Anthony knows what it means, what it is to be a student, to have to fight, to study, to fight, to work, to earn, to go to school. Kenny Anthony has St. Lucians at heart. By all the policies of Kenny Anthony, you can see that's a man who doesn't masquerade, who doesn't bluff. When Chasley left the boulevard, he read his home and he bathed and he burned the shirt he had on him. When he left the Marshall Boulevard, he ran at his home and he bathed. He took out the shirt. When he left the boulevard, trying to use people's living conditions for politics, trying to use the people in the boulevard, the people that you and your government deserted for so many years. And whilst he's doing that nonsense, right next to where he was, the largest government social infrastructure work is being done in the boulevard at over $700,000 under the St. Lucia Labour Party. So tell Chasley, put that in his pipe on. My brothers and my sisters, I want you to look into the future. You heard Alvina Reynolds. You heard a woman who has passion. A woman who understands your problems. You heard her achievements in health. You heard her achievements in her constituency. You heard J.D. Pierre. And I was happy that J.D. Pierre made the point about youth. Because all in a sudden, the United Workers' Party, who deserted youth all the time they were in government, who kept the youth on a shift system for so many years, who caused 3,000 or 4,000 children every year to think themselves that they were failures because they could not get a secondary school, all in a sudden, the United Workers' Party, who did not build playing fields for the people of St. Lucia, and it's only when we improved the quality of playing fields and we built 2 new stadiums and we improved the quality of playing fields, that is why we could have a guy like Darren Sammy, who is skipper of the West Indies team. Because of our investment in sports, and Honorable Sean Edwards is continuing that investment in sports. The Labour Party, who has a separate ministry for youth. We did not put the Ministry of Youth as an appendage of another ministry. We gave it a full-fledged ministry with a permanent secretary, etc., under the Honorable Sean Edwards. That is what we're talking about, youth, my brothers and sisters. It is this Labour Party who want to bring the youth back into the age, bring the youth forward into the age of information technology. And that is why we're given every child, and by the time we leave government or when we get back into government, every child in a secondary school will have a laptop computer to educate themselves. But Shasta doesn't want that. He doesn't want that because he will not be able to fool the people of the boulevard. Go and get them a stale loaf, half a leaf of lettuce, 1 slice of tomato, and half an egg, and a cup of stale cocoa tea that's cold. He gone there with a fellow called Chock-a-Block, and he say he feeding the people of the boulevard. You think you can insult people like that? You think you can take people and insult them like my ancestors? But I'll tell you something. This year, in Cashews East, we're winning that seat by over 1,000 votes. And tell him, if he doesn't like it, put it in his pipe on. My brothers and sisters, Guy Reject Myers can come. Guy Reject Myers appeared there. Here come they hugging up Mel. That's Guy Myers support hugging up Mel. Guy Myers had $5 million from the Taiwanese. $1 million. Thank you, Mr. Finance. $7.5 million of Taiwanese funds. I want Guy Myers to come with me and let me show him what we did with our Taiwanese funds and show us what he did with his Taiwanese funds. And now you want to come back and go in with Alan Chasney, going the boulevard, and you talking about people in poverty. What does Chasney know about poverty? What does Chasney know about poverty? Chasney just wants to ride on the back of St. Lucians so he can get he and his friends to control the economic power of this country. That's what he wants to do. That's what he wants, my brothers and sisters. So, my brothers, let us look at the future. The future is bright. The future is bright for St. Lucia. The future looks good. Kenny Anthony has kept St. Lucia away from the IMF. And I want to give him a special round of applause for that, my brothers and sisters. Because the countries that have been under the IMF, when they tell you about Grenada has growth, Grenada is under an IMF program. Jamaica, they just lost elections because they were under an IMF program. But Kenny Anthony and Team Labour, by our policies, by our prudent management, by our lack of corruption, we have kept St. Lucia away from the hands of the International Monetary Fund. So, the country has begun to develop. As we speak, 600 rooms being built in Grosile. 600 rooms of a brand new hotel under the St. Lucia Labour Party. Tell Chasney, how many hotels were built when he was Minister of Tourism? How many hotels were built when he was Minister of Tourism? Not one. Only what he did, he employed HEPO. That's all Chasney did. That's all he did. The future, a brand new Dennery infant school. We just signed for it on Thursday, and we're going to build a $7.8 million Dennery infant school for the people of Dennery, my brothers and sisters. What is the future? The future under Labour is a brand new airport which will start construction next year. By next year December, construction on the brand new airport will start. And because of the policies and because of the need for integrity, we will build the airport on a PPP partnership where the government of St. Lucia will not spend 1 cent, because we do not want the corruption and the roro that happened. But you know why Guy Joseph will cut the grass behind the grass and put the grass in front of the grass? You know why he'll do that? He will do that because he is vexed. He is annoyed. He is annoyed because we blocked the airport deal. We block it. We've blocked the airport deal. He's annoyed because that airport deal, oh my God, that was so sweet, and that was so juicy, and that would do so many things. That airport deal was blocked. And my brothers and sisters, they have said if they get back in power, they will squash the PPP arrangement we have for that airport so Guy Joseph can go back in his old ways. Will you allow that to happen, my brothers and sisters? Will you allow Guy Joseph to bring St. Lucia back for an airport where A&M would be the main contractors? And you know who owns A&M and who is in A&M. You know A&M. You know A&M. So my brothers and sisters, he will not do that. So the future is bright. The future looks good on the Labour. You cannot stop now. We cannot turn back now. We have to go forward now. We cannot take this country back to where it was. And the evidence is clear. Labour is ready. So my message is clear. My message is clear. Stay with Labour. Stay with Dr. Kenny DeAnthony. Stay with Alvina Reynolds. Let us continue on the path of progress and prosperity. And once and for all, let us ensure that no Alan Shasley, and I say that without any fear, no matter what they say about me, because right now, even, you see, Dominic Fede, Guyanese-born Dominic Fede, Guyanese-born 5 foot 2.5 inches, Dominic Fede. How many pounds? 71.5 pounds. Once to enter the politics of St. Lucia, I had forgotten about Dominic Fede. But since Dominic Fede resurrect me, Victorin, I'm going to be working with you. Because Dominic Fede has resurrected me. Finally, my brothers and my sisters of Miku South, you are a proud people. You have turned out some of the best people in this country. From Miku, there was Marshall Francis in cricket. Some of the best sportsmen have come from Miku. Darren Sammy is from Miku. Miku has turned some of the brightest people out. You mean to tell me the United Workers' Party cannot get somebody from Miku to run Miku? You mean to tell me you cannot get somebody from Miku to run Miku? You have to look, because you believe that you can take the people of Miku for granted. So Alan Shasley, after Dalson deal with him in Soufrière, when he ran from South Castries because he was afraid of Robert Louis, he was rejected in Soufrière. He hasn't got the manhood to go back and fight in Soufrière. You see what these guys, you see what they want me to say? Macapelle, hear about Gwen. He has not got the manhood. Took the courage. He hasn't got the commitment. He hasn't got the fortitude. He hasn't got the conviction. He hasn't got the depth to run elections in Soufrière. But he wants to go and ride on the backs of the people of Miku South. But I'll tell you something. Alan Chasney will not win the Miku South seat. Because we have a man from Miku, a man of Miku, a man with Miku, who will win the Miku seat when the Prime Minister calls the general elections. So Chasney will join the ranks of another reject politician. Tell him, put that in his pipe and... So my brothers and sisters, I like how you feel. I feel it. I feel it in my soul that you're ready. I feel it in my heart that you're ready. And these men and women behind there are ready also. I see Alvina is ready. I see Jadia is ready. I see Victorin is ready. And listen to me. You know who more ready? Pharaoh. And I'll tell you what. Look, Joachim, tell me you're ready. Joachim, yes, you're ready. But I'll tell you what. Something will happen in a cash receipt. Something will happen in a cash receipt. That's all I'm telling you. Something will happen in a cash receipt. Good night, my brothers and my sisters.